Well, let's hit up a movie we both saw over the weekend with, I assume, children. The Bad Guys. Mm-hmm. The Bad Guys were seen by us. 2022 film directed by Pierre Perifel. Pierre Perifel. The voices of Sam Rockwell, Mark Maron, Awkwafina, Craig Robinson, Anthony Ramos, Richard Iowa.
We know him. Logan used to love that guy.
I know this guy. I don't know pronounce his name.
Yeah, Iota. Let's go with that.
Perfect. Zazie Beetz and Alex Borstein. 87% Rotten Tomatoes.
No, Alex Borstein.
Oh, your favorite.
Isn't that who you did your impersonation
No,
for?
she was... What was she? No, she was Miss Swan, I thought.
Alex Borstein used to come on to Loveline. I know that. And she was a voice.
No, it was Pam Adlon.
Okay, that's who you did the voice.
That was Bobby.
Yeah, that's who you did your impersonation of Hank Hill for, which was one of the most uncomfortable moments of my entire life.
Yeah, uncomfortable for you.
God damn, that was uncomfortable. Yeah, Borstein used to come on. She did voices for...
Pipe down.
She did voices for the old... no.
Oh, Borstein did a Family Guy.
Family Guy, yes. Okay. Bad Guys.
87% Rotten Tomatoes. It's in theaters now, and this is a film about, well, Bad Guys, of course, is an animated film, DreamWorks Animation, to be specific. Speaking of animation, I am ignorant when it comes to the actual animating of animation.
Well,
I found the animation very interesting looking.
Oh, okay.
Did you notice all this? I guess they drew a lot of inspiration from Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse.
I didn't see that.
That's what I read, but I found the animation interesting. It wasn't like the Pixar smooth, 3D animation.
Could have used some of that.
Really?
Yeah.
I found it quite
My thing with the Bad Guys and the way that it was put together is less is more has never been uttered in the ears of anyone involved. There's just too much going on.
There were a million gerbils at the end.
There's just too. At times, there's just too much. It's just like, I know that the canvas is unlimited, especially with CGI. You can do whatever you want, but just bring the scope down and have us focus on one or two things. A little bit too much.
Okay.
Too much visual noise.
Too much dip on the chip.
Too much dip on the chip.
Okay, speaking of too much, I'm going to actually point
Sometimes
out.
it works. Like Into the Spider-Verse, it fucking worked.
Sure.
There was so much going on, but it worked because they were able to direct your eye to what matters. With this, it just seemed like Lucas was involved, and he's just like, the more the better. Throw shit at the...
So it was really, really good. The one thing I want to bring up with you, which is not too much, just too little, in this world, which is just the world, it is populated with, as far as I can tell, 7 sentient animals. The 5 bad guys, the professor, and the mayor or the governor or whatever. Other than that, it is entirely humans.
Yeah.
So whereas you're like Zootopia makes sense. There's an animal
There's
world.
definitely some Zootopia vibe.
Not
going
enough,
on with
because
this
they're in Zootopia. It makes sense. Like they're an animal world, and everything's for animals, and the animal world's populated with these types and these types and these types and these types, and there's different villages or whatever. In this one, it's just our world with 7 sentient talking animals living inside of it, and on top of that, they're apparently world famous because we open with like a.
Well, you're missing the point, Brian. That they're like fable. They're characters. They're bad guy characters from fables, from nursery rhymes.
No, they're not. They're not from the nursery rhymes, but like in the opening, the wolf's like, "Yeah, I'm a wolf. I know. I've been the bad guy in countless."
They represent all of the fears and the preconceived notions of characters, whether they're snakes or minorities in some cases with ignorant people, right?
He said it. I didn't say it.
You see what I'm saying?
I will say that based on the opening scene, which is taken from Pulp Fiction, they're in a diner. They're talking about their latest caper, and next thing you know, we kind of pull out a little bit, and we see that everyone in the diner, everyone is terrified of them. Yeah. They're like up against the wall. They're afraid to like make a move.
I think they could have escaped at some point.
And so no, they're walking around freely.
No. The people that were scared in the diner, you think that they would have made their escape while Snake and Wolf were just talking?
That's probably true. Then they go outside, and everyone who sees them instantly knows that these are like the worst. This is Ted Bundy mixed with John Wayne Gacy. You know what I mean? These are evil people, and they run, they hide.
Yes.
And yet, later in the movie, they're able to freely crash the equivalent of the Academy Awards.
Well, they're dressed
like
up.
the Met Gala.
They
Indeed, they are.
on.
But the only animals in this world
Well, they're also the mayor, or the
That's
governor.
true.
She's the governor.
She's the governor.
She's the fox. Brian,
That was a weird choice. I would
this
have
is a
liked
children's cartoon, Brian.
Is this based on the books?
Yeah, we
read it, right?
We haven't gotten
because that's
there
what
yet.
was.
Yeah.
We need to hold these to a higher standard, like Zootopia, which you actually like better than me. I like Zootopia. It's a good movie. It's fine. But
Right.
the movie is a perfect world building movie. Like that world, I know what goes on there. I know how it works. I know who populates it. This one,
You
I was
need to
confused.
figure out how things work in the bad guys
There's no
universe.
rules anymore.
All right. Well, they've changed. The movie was changed more than I would have liked.
Other than that, I liked it.
All right. So I am on book 14 with the boy right now.
Oh, really? Of this?
Of the bad guys. Like, and there's going to be 20 total, and we are on book 14, which is the last one written and made available. Book 15 comes out July. Really? And I've been reading these to him every night for the last, 6 months or so. His mom bought him a couple, but she bought them out of order. She didn't realize that they're sequential. So I ended up getting the first one, and then he liked it so much. They're real easy reads too. You can read one of these books in 20, 30 minutes.
So is this how it is in the book?
No, the book is different. Like Tiffany Fluffett, who is the news anchor, looks almost exactly like Agent Fox, or who's not Agent Fox.
Oh, she's an animal.
movie. Yeah, she's an animal. There's
So
more
there's
animals.
a choice to make her a
There's
human?
more. I don't know. You know what? Now that I
hate
think about it, I don't know if there's any humans in the book. I'm not
hate
sure.
this.
I don't think there's any. It's pretty much just those characters. It's very loud. There's a lot going on. It's done in panels. It's almost like a comic book. It is like a graphic novel. And they're like each 170 pages, I think. And you can get through them in 20, 30 minutes probably, because there's just not a whole lot of dialogue. It's just pretty much pictures. And there's a lot of dialogue, actually. There's so many voices, Brian. I'm doing like every night. Like it's a performance. I'm putting on. Now there's so many characters in. By the time we're at book 14, I'm doing, I think 11, 12 different voices.
Are you doubling down?
And Atticus,
doubling up on, I used this voice back in book 2, but he won't know.
No, Atticus. I was about to say Atticus catches me. He's like, Daddy, that's because I changed after. I read some after we saw the movie. We were supposed to see it last week, and Atticus pussed out because he's kind of a bitch sometimes. Sorry, didn't mean to be pejorative about ladies. He's kind of a pussy. Fuck.
He's a pussycat.
He's kind of a pab. He's a pabby guy. Atticus can
What
be.
does
He's
pab
5 years.
stand for?
Pussy ass. But shit. But Atticus is he's scared of movies, which sucks. Movie theaters.
That's bad news for
I
you.
had tickets for the mom and I last week. The weekend it came out, and he vetoed very last minute. And I wasn't going to force him. Got him to go this weekend, so I'm very glad I did, because we've been reading these books, right? And after we saw the movie, and I heard Mark Maron's interpretation of Snake.
So he's in the film.
Yeah. Yes, Brian. After I heard Mark Maron doing Mr. Snake, I tried it on for size when reading the book to him after, in bed that night after seeing the movie. And he's like, Daddy, that's not how you do Mr. Snake. I'm like,
no.
Yeah, I know, but I was trying. He's like, yeah, you should do it the way you normally do. I'm like, okay. All right, I'll do it with the hissing and whatnot.
You're doing your drive my car where you just got the tape on and you're perfecting it.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, okay, now I need your help, because Tessa woke up Sunday, and I'm like,
Drive my car.
I'm like, we're going to see the bad guys. And she goes, Daddy, I already saw that with Grandma. I'm like, yeah, but I want to see it. She goes, I want to see Sonic 2.
Oh, no.
I'm like, oh, no.
You got to steer away
And
from
Chrissy's
that.
out of town. So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, no, this is terrible.
Yeah. What do? You just forced the hand?
I told her that Sonic 2
you lied.
It was sold out.
You lied.
Yeah. I told her it was sold out.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I think that was a smart move.
I think it was a smart move, too.
Very
I
smart
think history will prove me correct.
You don't want her running around with her arms behind her back, which will happen. It always happens with every kid that watches Sonic.
Is that what's happening with Tyler's kid?
Is that happening? You see videos?
I thought you guys were talking about that.
It does happen. Yeah, like they'll play t-ball, and then it's like their turn, and they'll hit it, and they'll run to first base with their arms behind
Does
their
Sonic
fucking
not
back.
pump his arms when he runs?
No, he runs with his arms behind his back, and
I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I see it happening all the. I didn't know what it was for years, and now I know. It's these kids trying to be Sonic. All right. Once you get past I don't think many of you have to get past the insane qualms that Brian has with there being humans involved in this
How is that
cartoon
insane?
world. Because it's about humans being afraid of things that they don't understand, that they
It's not about that at all.
pigeonhole
stop it.
as it's absolute. That's what the entire movie
not
is
even
about.
subtext.
It's about stereotypes. It's about thinking that these guys are bad guys and they can't be anything else other than bad guys, because that's how you have always thought
I
of them.
can't enjoy movies because they're women.
That's what the entire movie's about. So the books are fun. They're getting a little heady as they go. Right now, we're dealing with multiple multiverses, and it's kind of hard for Atticus to keep up.
You're doing 5,000 voices in this one.
There's so many voices. There's one guy, every time you say his name, he plays guitar. You just hear fling, ding, 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 fling, like guitar, like heavy metal guitar. Sure. He's like overlord. But
those are opposites.
Aaron Blabey, the guy that wrote the books, he's really good at keeping the story moving forward.
I will say I enjoyed this movie for what it was, and it had a momentum to it, for sure.
There is that. And some of that, and most of that is kept, I think, with it. You probably didn't stick through the credits, right?
No.
My wife just fucking immediately bailed because she can't wait to get out of the theater. So I watched, there was one mid-credit roll scene that happened, and if I had to guess,
that explains the whole thing.
All the books end with a really great cliffhanger, which is just usually fucking completely out of left field. It's like, what? That dude's an alien now? What? Right? But it works. Like at the end of book 2 is when the zombie kittens show up, right? And they change that to zombie gerbils or hamsters in this one, which I didn't really like that because Professor Marmalade's already a guinea pig. What this did, the rewrites of this and the adaptation from the books really did lean on was the stereotype and wrapping things up and setting things up and then paying them off later. And I thought that was really impressive and enjoyable and satisfying with some of the payoffs in this movie.
Yeah. Overall, I found it enjoyable.
With the caper and Snake by the end and like figuring out who was actually conning who, like that was really clever and above most kids' heads. But I really got satisfaction out of it.
It was, for me, I found it very standard, but that said, most kids' movies are good these days. So this was another good kids' movie.
They don't have any of that in the books, is what I'm saying. Like the big setup and then the ultimate payoff.
I thought you were saying that was in all the books.
No, the moving the story forward and the insanity is definitely in all the books, but they didn't have the tight narrative with the overall themes really delivering it is what I should say, which it had shades of Zootopia, which I was not prepared for or expecting.
Not enough Zootopia.
All right.